Oh, excuse me, that's not a very good start, is it? Hello and good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me here today as we are exploring the full moon in Taurus. Another full moon. They seem to come round pretty damn quickly. And this one is important. And they've all been important, but when it's at the end of an eclipse, when we have an eclipse and then a corridor and then another eclipse, they become very, very important. And I'm sure you felt that. I'm sure over the last couple of weeks you may have felt the intense energy coming in. And we are certainly, in the last 2 years, been experiencing so much incredible, intense energy. But it's all for a purpose. It's all for a beautiful purpose. The purpose to help us step out of the limited way we have seen ourselves, to realize how much more we are, to uncover the truth of who we really are, and to stop seeing ourselves as just this physical body, as just a woman, just a person. It's time to, for us to really step out and begin to connect with all that we are, with every aspect of our divine self. When we look back through the past, look back at religions, and too much of it has been based on how bad we are, how we need forgiving, how we need to prostrate ourselves before this great God. And actually the truth is, the God is us. The God is in here. The God is our divine connection to everything. It's just that these connections were sheared, they were severed. We were unplugged from them. And so we forgot. We forgot really and truly who we are and how astonishingly magnificent we are. And now, the universe wants to remind us. And this is what stepping into 5D is. One day I'll do a video about what 5D really means, because there have been so many misunderstandings. But effectively, it means that we experience the world in a different way. We put love and joy at the center of all our experiences, and that changes everything. As Max Planck said, something like, if we change the way we view the world, then the world will change in order to match the way that we view it. So it really is down to us. It's down to us rediscovering everything that we are. And then the world will have to shift in order to align with our heart, with our joy, with our feelings. And this is ascension. And this full moon in Taurus today is another step towards our ascension journey, another step on our ascension journey. And there is tons going on, tons and tons and tons. I had to write some of it down because there's just too much. So, what has been happening repeatedly over the last 2 years has been this endless cycle of endings and beginnings. And it's almost every full moon I know that I've come on here and said, right, this is a new start. Here's a new moon, right, this is a new start. But it is. And it's not that we are ending and beginning the same thing all the time. It is that we are so rich in layers. We are so rich in our emotions and our thoughts and our energy, that every time we have had an ending and a beginning, it's been on that layer. But then we proceed to the next layer. and then there had to be an ending and a beginning on that layer. So bit by bit we are clearing through the layers in order to clear out, to shift what was blocking us at that time. And this full moon is yet another ending and beginning. And we need to embrace it. We need to allow it. People have said that this full moon is going to be very chaotic. I don't think that things could be much more chaotic than they have been in the past 2 years. And I think people fear the chaos of this moon because it is bringing truth. It is shedding more light on the truth of our existence, of our world, of everything that is going on. And people fear truth. We have learnt to fear truth. We want everything sugar-coated. We want it to be sweet and nice. But truth isn't always that way. Sometimes truth is hard to hear. Sometimes we need to hear truth as it is in order to help wake us up, in order to help us step forward into the next stage of our journey. But we don't need to fear chaos. We don't need to fear truth. We know truth. You know, when you sit and you connect with your soul, you connect with your heart, you know what truth is. You can feel it in here. All we're doing is we are taking it from the feeling to making it conscious within our mind. It's just that. It is just that shift. So in reality, we know what the truth is. We just need to mentally and emotionally accept it. And then we can continue stepping forward. So this chaos-filled lunar eclipse, they say it's got big potential for bringing surprise revelations and twists of fate. Twists of fate, I love that phrase. We don't really have twists of fate. What we have is free will. We have the freedom to be anyone, to express ourselves as we wish. But we've been kind of funneled down a little road that says this is who you are, this is how you will be. And every time we step out of that road, we sort of consider it to be a twist of fate. It's not, it's just freedom. And we'll get used to freedom. The more we sense it, the more we feel a little bit of it, we'll get to go, oh yes, freedom. I remember that because our soul will remember it. You know, I saw a video of I can't remember, I think it was some lions that had been kept in a circus cage for about 16 years. And you thought, well, where's the instinct gone? Can there be any instinct? But as they stepped out into their grass pen, their new enlarged grass pen, living in this beautiful place, they smelt the grass and you could see them coming alive. They found a tree. They knew instantly how to scratch at the tree. All that instinct, all that knowledge about who they really are, it was with them. It had just been suppressed for a while, but never lost. And this is the same in us. Our sense of freedom may have been lost, may have been suppressed for a little while, but it's never been lost because we remember it, because our soul remembers what it's like to be a light-filled, beautiful, divine being with free will. So we will adjust. There's no twist of fate. Instead, there are just glimpses of freedom, moments of freedom that we are getting and we are taking. And we will get used to them. So the other thing I noted was about these eclipses, because we went from one eclipse of 2 weeks ago through to the next eclipse. And it almost feels like we've been sort of squished. You know, when you hold on to something so tightly, even though it's not good for you. And it feels like we've sort of come down this corridor and the eclipses are going, no, get rid of it, get rid of it. We can squeeze it out. As though we're sort of being shot out at the other end and said, right, there you go, you've grown. You now can connect with your higher self even better. You can now express yourself even better. You are now a little bit freer. And so if you've been feeling this kind of intense pressure in the last 2 weeks, this is why. It's been these eclipses kind of pushing us forward, making sure that we can't actually stop, making sure that we can't stand still or go backwards. You know, this pressure has literally kind of pushed us forward, like birth, they tell me. You know, it's literally that kind of corridor of birth that says, come on, you're going to be born again. You are going to come out. And you're going to be bigger and freer than you were at the start 2 weeks ago. So it's been a very, very important eclipse corridor. And what it's all talking about us now is it's helping us to connect with our value and connect with what it is that's important to us. And I can't remember, about 3 weeks ago when I was setting up a next topic for the private Facebook group, and I sat there and I thought, what is it? And they said it's about valuing and honouring ourselves. And I didn't realise this was what the eclipse was about, and the moon. But this is something we need to do. We need to begin to value our choices, value who we are, value and honour all that we can do and all that we are. We lost this sense of value in ourselves. We began to think of ourselves as being small and powerless and just so much less than we really are. And we didn't value our choices, our relationships. We didn't honour the decisions that we made. We doubted everything. But now we need to begin to value who we are. Now we need to begin to say, this is me, and I'm going to respect my choices, my feelings. I'm going to start honouring who I am and everything that I have created around me. You know, we're so quick to push aside whatever it is that we've created, whatever it is that we've said. You know, we how often have we, I don't know, thought afterwards, oh, why did I say that? Oh, that wasn't very good, was it? You know, it's a constant stream of self-criticism, and it gets us absolutely nowhere, apart from to keep us small and limited, to stop us stepping into our power. But this is all another training. It's another layer of how we've been trained to dishonour and devalue who we are, our thoughts, our desires, our feelings, everything. No. We create our world, and it's time to really begin to say, I'm going to value all that I have created, all that I am, and all the expressions of my own soul. This whole idea that one person's expression is valid and another person's isn't. How can we do that? We can't. We can't say to somebody, you are wrong, to say that their soul is wrong, that their body is wrong. We chose exactly this vessel to be able to come here and experience the life that we need in order to help us grow and learn and evolve. And if we turn to someone and say, that's wrong, we are saying their journey is wrong. We're saying that the hugest choices that their soul has ever made are wrong. No. Let's start with valuing, honouring ourselves, and then we will begin to value and honour the choices that other people make. And this moon is here to help us do that. And of course, honouring the relationship that we have with ourselves. So the Taurus full moon is all about comfort and luxury. You know, Taurians have an absolutely beautiful sense of beauty. But then we also have Scorpio that is around. And Scorpio is intense. Scorpio is fun. So I'm going to read what someone else wrote actually. It says, we can see this again now when we have to ask ourselves what our own darkness is. Scorpios love to find out the truth and simply cannot stand inauthentic sweet talk. They often confront the person bluntly with their truth and are considered difficult, not least because of this. But the truth hurts, as we all know. And so it's not surprising that Scorpio strikes when she's in opposition to this Taurus full moon. So this is where the chaos comes in. Taurus has this wonderful, soft, luxurious side to it. Just make it all nice. And Scorpio comes in and says, no, underneath that cushion that you're sitting on, there's a whole load of muck. And that's where I want to go. So the Scorpio is really asking us to go into our shadow once again, to clear the layers, to allow us to evolve, to grow, to become even more, and to begin valuing that relationship that we have with ourselves. Because if we value this, we begin to value our relationships with other people. But it's impossible to really be in a good relationship with the world around us if we are not in a good relationship with ourselves. So, transformation, big, profound transformations for the world, for us, as truth rises, as truth pushes forward. And as I've said, truth can look chaotic, but truth also sets us free. Truth also allows us to become empowered, to really step into who we are, to who we know we are. No denying anymore that we are way more than we have ever been told. It's time for all of that to end. So this is the truth. When someone over years has told you what you can and what you can't do, this has become your truth, but it is not the truth. It's not the real truth. You know, I grew up in a family where I was often told that I was not as worthy as others. My feelings were devalued, ignored, and it hurts, and it's a wound that we carry for a long, long time, but we can release it. This is why we have healing energies. They're here to help us release these wounds. But if we don't release these wounds, then what happens is we take these wounds forward in our life, and everything that we do becomes wrapped around that pain. And the pain creates this self-limitation. And this is what we're setting free. This is the pains that we are now setting free. And as we explore them, as we open up that shadow side, it can seem awful because suddenly we're thinking, I remember feeling this way, I remember feeling vulnerable. But this all has to open again in order for us to allow the light in order for us to truly reconnect with everything that we are. And it's, I was told earlier, it's not about bargaining our life away. Life is not about bargaining our life away. You know, in order to feel safe within a family unit, in order to feel safe within a society, we have been asked to give up so much of ourselves. Do it for the greater good. Don't say this because somebody might get hurt. Everything for other people. And yes, to take care of others is very good, but it must not be to the detriment of what we need, of what we are experiencing. Our needs are not less than someone else's. But every person has the ability, has the chance to stand up for themselves, to take care of themselves. There are some who can't, then we take care of them, but we all have the ability to stand up and say, my needs are important. This is my truth, this is what I need, this is my expression. And we cannot say to somebody else, your needs are not important, and we cannot say to ourselves, my needs are not important, because they are. So come back into you, come back to your heart and start thinking about what it is that you want, that you need. What's missing in your life? What is lacking? What passion are you ignoring that will actually bring you great joy and happiness? This is the truth rising. The truth of who you are and of what you need. So yes, this is what's important now. Truth. The truth of how beautiful, how magnificent, how stunning we are. A time of healing, of clearing, cleansing, forgiveness. So I'm reading from what I wrote earlier. A time to realise how our shadow fears have been manipulated in order to control us. You know, when we are constantly devalued and told that we are worthless, we lose trust in how we feel, and then we become so fearful of asking for anything, of stepping out into who we are. And then that fear can be controlled and manipulated in order to make us feel even more worthless and even smaller and even more pathetic. But when we start connecting with who we are and saying, this is what I need, this is who I am, this is what I want, we begin to empower ourselves. We begin to stand up and say, you know what? I'm magnificent. And you know what? What I want is actually so incredibly important, and I am going to indulge my feelings, and I'm going to allow them to speak, and I'm going to put them into action. I'm going to allow the truth of who I am to shine out into this great big world. Don't need to hide anymore. And yes, the funny thing is that when we begin to stand up for ourselves, the relationships, the family units, the society that we were in that says, no, I have a vested interest in keeping you small, all they see is chaos. Because suddenly we're not who we were. Suddenly we're not tied into the fear, into the smallness, into the way we were. And people will walk around and say, well, I don't know who they are anymore. My God, I think they've gone crazy. This was always the definition of crazy. Somebody finding their truth, somebody finding out who they are, someone expressing their pains, beginning to accept the real truth of who they are. So instead we label them crazy because it's easier for us. It's not easier for them, but for us it's fine. We can give them some medication, we can keep them quiet, we can lock them away. This is why we say that truth brings chaos, because it challenges the status quo. It makes us step out and say, hang on a sec, things are shifting. And it's hard. So we all have to shift, because when one person changes, the ripple effect goes out, and all the people and all the relationships and all society that we are existing in, that also shifts. But it shifts in a beautiful way. But as it passes through, it looks chaotic. But it isn't. It's actually going out. It's changing from disorder into order. But that process looks chaotic. But it isn't. It's coming into order, finally. So let's have a look at some cards. And this time I chose Whispers of the Ocean. And the reason I chose that is because it's a full moon. And the full moon is watery. She pulls the tides. And what are we? We are water. And water is so much of the divine feminine. So, the first card, let me check I'm doing it in the right order. Am I doing it right? Yes, I am. Hang on. Yes, I did. I don't know what I'm doing down here. So this is the first card. Setting up parameters. Now, what this talks to us about is saying that as we begin to find the truth, to align with ourselves, we mustn't rush. We've made choices so quickly before. You know, we've been pressured into, what's your choice? What are you going to do now? I need to know now. And it doesn't give us time to really connect with our heart, to connect with our soul, and to feel, to use our wisdom to know what it is that our answer is, that our choice is. And we need to give ourselves that space to say, I'm going to allow myself the time to figure out what is my truth, to feel what is my truth and what I want and where I'm going. We don't want to rush forward. We don't want to, race forward and then think, oh no, that was wrong. I made another bad choice. Instead, we want to allow ourselves that time to really understand who we are and to not react from our pains, but instead to react to our dreams and our desires and our joy and our wishes. So don't feel forced to rush into anything. You don't have to. So that was the first card. The second card is called Keeping It in Check. Okay, and this one again speaks to us about don't move too quickly forward into something. The choices we make now will resonate for a long, long time. So it's important that we are connecting with the highest part of ourselves, that we are listening. Our body, our soul, our heart is talking to us all the time. Give yourself time to listen, to sit with that feeling, to really get to know how your choices feel to you, so that you can honour the real truth of who you are. And then the third card, this is a clam. So this is love where you are. Okay, love where you are. Isn't that perfect? It says connect with your heart, even though your head is talking endlessly at you. Your ego, your fears, your old patterning, all of this will try and divert you away from the heart, away from your higher wisdom. The old patterns will try to convince you that they are the best route. But it's actually not what you want to listen to. You don't want to listen to the fear. You don't want to listen to the shoulds, the have-tos that resonate around our head again and again and again. You really want to come in and listen to the heart. It is our desires that take us forward, not the shoulds. The shoulds actually create a roadblock, because you try to step forward and then you say, well, you should have done this. It's like, oh, okay, where do I go now then? Well, it's too late because you should have done that. And then we look back and there's hindsight. Oh, no, but... And then we carry the guilt and the shame of all of this. This is where shoulds get us. Whereas I wish to, I feel, I sense, my heart tells me this is the route to follow. Because following the path of desire, following our dreams, our passions, this opens doors, whereas a should will shut them in our face. And that's not how we step forward. Okay, so almost time for some light language. And again, I'm going to read what I wrote when the moon was talking to me. And the reason I wrote on when I advertised this, and I said, Lady Luna is speaking to you, will you listen? I was walking home just a few days ago, and the sky was dark, and I looked up, and there was the moon. And this voice just said to me, Lady Luna is speaking, will you listen? And it just felt so beautiful. I made a point of remembering it and sharing it with you. So Lady Luna said to me, you are a child of the moon. You are connected to her intuition, her divine, gentle and loving energies. The world has expected you to become what they call strong. This means hiding your vulnerabilities, your openness, and becoming tough and blind to the pains and traumas of others and of yourself. This is not living. The Lady Luna invites you once again to connect with the higher part of you, of the value and worth of your soul and its journey. That's what she says. You are a child of the moon. And now it's time to call her in, that she may speak to us, her children, that she may open our hearts once again to be soft and loving to ourselves. And I feel also these beautiful lunar light beings. I don't quite know what they are. They feel like the guardians of the moonlight, fairies too. They all come to surround us and hold us in this silvery light. Even though we can't see it in the UK right now, it's out there, shining down on us. We're going to allow her to speak, to show us the truth of who we are. So get yourself comfy, sit back, just imagine the beautiful silvery moon. Just like the sun, she shines down on us. She illuminates all that has been hidden, but gently, with ease. Just breathe in the light as she talks. Mai horna sinkara. Mukura ni kuji samura sodor makire. Madawa ki darja ki sonno ron maraitme. Karamokuji saya tera masima rakora kidia. Matorukumashi paisiara makisade. Punara kai kunara makinara shukurasia te. Parusukuzia, tamarono koshera mashide, bite ormasi, perikinar, pekurandia shera, batiskura makai, paredania shueshia suara tagreshi, paranikusia mea, paradunkushi karasi, shazia diamorana nakia marasedia. Anusura makaije, karamikio no shaz moratarapsisi, karakamadashi, patimorasi. Unaja diana najkia, para nashinja son mokoisi, para disgazinia, sarimo coresitia, marazi karamai. Natonora jekia jaria, marakarish kazamaniara, marakakish marazagrania, marakurukurshia, anusukaramekia, paradiskia, shukorosimia. Natora masiara, teskia giania, nyamurabatia, kandia shukra. Nasora matsiera, te chiaro, kurmashki, bagianna, mroshuasia, pariskia meato noscora, tazinia se marasikar, kien yoshora, vasinia siar makashke otroshia, panosarakia, paraniskimia, maradinsko shintia jayimoro sapia, tarabeskiara ke, nashanor sora, tezitia, paradisco moroswadia, marasina kesia, nasora masia, tazinia sinia marakiwashe. Nashora masia durosho. Badina keshia. She says there are certain things that we can only see in the moonlight. Sometimes the sunlight is too harsh. Tajmara nikiwashinya simara orabarkia nakea. Tamrosozia padinia ormukoshi. Kunara padi maraurokoshi. Padiska paradina karji bororusia. Nasumorazi. Aniotora shite barasika ormoko shite amari korakuda na shinya seara ta kiara karakarmatorske na ormosar pidiano padiano na orsikare sikia padaisnya saurandoska tarin mashi kaitia biana roshora sukurasia na suno kora timia tiania marasinya kezinya marasinya karakejnya simararadia korokrekisho korasintia paradiske maridoro hudar magique marasinha seia taramasi puracadia najea porana keshura makosukare takeshiku keshiatia maravatini korasi paruusgare tikia padarishki sandia saya morosho oratorske tajimador masuetiania paraki Kuoran kesia paradeiska, Peter sinja sakarake markoskisiotu, chujonyorasi, pedareitata, paradebaraka, pedarimur waraki warkoshi jadata, simare dorosi, no samaratiake. Mutuzana tasiti kirkarishiskimia, tumojora na kasinja teja, paradishke sija maragaikia, tarmusho shonyazi maradavrekia nyakesia, tamia jonjora nashi, padajishko sonya sara, petiera makasi, marino shusa, padira kor makaije tiana marasi, nyorasi, paradonyo jara makashi, kuruna jamaragwai, purunukora marakashi kesitia, parakishkesi maravariti. Urnesia paradi, Nadia mora, Anukuramaki asidia maravasi, Kiburukadeya, Metaremia, the Moromarakima, Kasia, Sadia maravasi, Anushora, Ziorunkusia, Taniasia, Badiare, Makiamurkashia, Turmisica Maragadeshko Zada Ramaredi, Najenia, Simarazinia, Simaramadadinia, Barazimarakaramishkinia, Pasaborokareshi, Sinuorashi, Paradojania, Sierra Matakreshki, Padadasinyasa, Paniski, Unash, Paranimorishikabasi, Parandesatsinia, Seatia, Maravariki Borgashki, Nashormazia, Paradeshka, Mararoshka, Marabaroshka, Maradoshka, Marasweti Yorama, Ayeshke, Simia Donoswara, Najamurasida, Zimaraki, Parandokosi, Moeginia, Sivaradeshke, Tanya Sumora, Zinia, Sinia, Arateki, Najoramasi, Purukoshi, Tejara. She says, are you bored? Are you fed up with walking someone else's path? The only path you've been allowed to see is the one that is lit by the brightest sun, because this is the only path they've wanted you to see. But the moon, she highlights a gentler path. She highlights a path that is for you, for your heart, for the sweetest, most loving part of you. This is the path she highlights, and this is the path to now follow, not the one that has been shown and said, you will walk this path. Basharma kujizadia, parabadi skor maski oronkoat, koran marakorejina, sadia mariniskia, tijama, morabraki wondoska, and your sormaki, termasinia seda, barakorski, mutomasa, karagima, geawa, giamarate, jonjo shormasi, prodorojonia, marasia, kodeski. And your smurota, dear shosa, simia, shedia, della massiva, camakajina, Nadino shomasi, Padinia morosonia, sierma coracjuora masi, Areora marakishka, Uran marajiki, siatia maro no cosibra diam. And osumra suara coracjiski, Nazidar masi, Maditio tomorokoa. Tidiana, Marosha Kurmasi, Vaishkesi, Purumsi Waranikosi, Purashikara Mosara, Debarkiushko, Sijania, Maravasi Markarikoshka, Ainia, Ridarbarkia, Murmasadu Rasi, Punakaraki Warankoshia. Azundo zorati, paratozuno zora parkarikoshki sayora masia, ania giara, adiania margera, parakino koshka ziara marho, pora nakasi, tarmaji baronokoshia. Budasnya sera barki, budasnya brasera barkishko, budanya barasibake, Tanaza mara datike, Tunanya mera barkishkasi, Budana marake barkishkisi, Ushi baradorosiara, Tamada yasya, Monadaski pura, Kora, Matiwishki, Majanya sea, Brucasia, Najidormoside. Murada shize ora te keroshka sora darashkoskara paradimara parakiuki kura kamaragariski sjaja paradishke maruno suarati paejida paradikora mesia paradishke murazivia onyazara batuska kika mashichiara punya sara budane marasera buta marasevara broka chanchi amorosi magia mara Nazivara kusia dia paradishka paroshokara zimisha hukia munoshokara sibara zidatia barake mashianga mutaramesi punana ziarada kioshkesia. Feel that beautiful gentle light of the moon, the harshness of how we have lived, the cruelty of how we have been pushed. We don't do that to ourselves anymore. We step into the heart. We step into the gentle, beautiful and yet powerful lunar light. Never think that gentle is not powerful. It is love that changes the world, not force. Force creates a pushback. Love simply opens doors. When you embrace the love for yourself, you embrace love for all. So be in this light. Allow your heart, your soul, your being to talk to you and comfort yourself. Forgive yourself. Be at peace in who you are. Be everything that you need, and honor and worship your own heart and your higher self, because you chose this journey, and it is time for you to honor your choices and be at peace in who you are. So I say a good morning, Jade and Tracy and Joyce and anyone else who's here with me. And thank you for sharing this journey with me. Thank you for feeding me the love and the energy that allows me to do this. Without you, I wouldn't be here. And I hope that you will step forward, embracing all that you wish for, and make your dreams come true. And as ever, if you wish to offer an exchange, I am more than happy to accept. And it took me a long time to learn to say that. But if not, it's fine. And I look forward to seeing you here again as we continue this magical journey. Can you feel that energy changing right now? Things are aligning, just as they should. Things are stepping into the light. They are going into the way of the light, so that we can build the world based on love. So I hope you'll stay with that energy. Breathe it in and let those ribbons of silvery light flow through every part of your body, bringing cleansing, clearing and forgiveness to all of you. I look forward to seeing you here again. Many light and lunar blessings to you.